welcome, greetings, salutations, konnichiwa, namaste, and how you doing? Welcome to the Institute of MSU. I am the Grand Exalted Sensei Extreme with extra cheese, Swami Matt. You have come here seeking my guidance because you too want to be such a leader. You too want to help others find their true path in life of self-expression and liberation, naturally through following whatever dogmatic ideology you tell them to. You, my friend, want to start a fitness cult. Of course, we're not going to be using the term cult because, some people might get offended, but it's also just this little hedonistic kind of idea that brings up images of people with shaved heads, dressed in white, and drinking Kool-Aid. No, instead of a cult, we're going to give our organization a little bit more of a palatable term. We are going to call what you're about to found a lifestyle. Using the term lifestyle helps really lower the resistance because everybody needs to follow some degree of lifestyle. We're all free to live the lives we choose. In addition, it also helps people become more accepting of the idea that your methods are supposed to take over their daily lives. Of course, establishing such a big fitness cult, lifestyle, is no easy feat because most people are accepting of the idea that in order to look and feel a little bit better, all it takes is a couple of simple modifications to daily habits. Get to bed a little bit earlier, cut back on junk food, maybe go for a walk and do some push-ups. It doesn't really require this big, huge thing, which is why, my friend, you are going to offer far more than just rudimentary health and fitness. You have to offer salvation. Salvation from what? It doesn't really matter. You just make something up. But usually the ideas of going after something big, like big tech, big pharma, or big asparagus is a good way to go about it. We want to convince people who come to you seeking just general health and wellness that there's far more at stake than just their own health and wellness. They instead need to adopt your lifestyle for the sake of their own salvation, the salvation of humanity, maybe even the salvation of the very planet itself. I know this may seem like a big undertaking and it's very complicated and difficult to do, but don't worry about it. All you need to do is get on the internet and find some sort of true fact, something that is validation by science that is true, but don't worry about pesky little things like relevance or circumstantial importance to each individual. All it needs to be is something that is actually factually true, and then you can build and extrapolate your entire lifestyle and approach to health and wellness off of this single thing. Once you have your fact and scientific validation, you can then also inject fear-mongering into all of your messages. A key point of your lifestyle is to help people understand that they are inherently flawed, that they are going down the chute into eternal damnation if they do not follow every little tip of your high maintenance approach to health and wellness. Now, I know you may be thinking, yeah, but how am I supposed to convince people that they are rudimentary flawed and going to suffer unless they follow my ideology? Don't worry about it, because it's actually a lot easier than it sounds. Lots of people come into health and wellness with a feeling of a little bit of low self-worth, the feeling that if I can just get rid of my gut, build muscle, or just somehow become sexified overnight, then I can help to overcompensate for my feelings of inadequacy. So these people are already coming to you feeling like they're the scum of the earth. You just have to convince them that they're right. And don't forget that half of the reason to establish your fitness lifestyle is about helping people feel that they are morally self-righteous and superior to everyone else. And in order to do this, it's crucial that your marketing messages are not so much about helping other people to improve their health and their lifestyle. No, it's about looking down your nose and saying how more superior they are and admonishing everyone else around them, particularly close friends and family. Be sure to make liberal use of the internet. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's like, but Swami Matt, if I help people get exposed to the internet, they'll come across all sorts of other ideas and approaches and methods, and they'll become more independent free thinkers who question the validity of my very cult. But don't worry too much about that. Hardly anyone ever uses the internet for that sort of thing. Instead, you're going to be using it to create little echo chambers, and the algorithms of social media, Google, YouTube, will continue to feed them information, a lot of it which you're creating, of course, that continue to postulatize this idea that everything you're saying is right and everyone else is wrong, while at the same time giving your followers the feeling that they are in control because they're searching and finding this information on their own, even though it's all fed to them by algorithms that are curated so that it's feeding them exactly what they are looking for. So it just becomes this great big confirmation bias cycle, and at the same time helping them to convince themselves of their own superiority over everyone else who isn't within their echo chamber. And lastly, whatever you do, always make sure that that promised salvation is forever just out of reach of your followers. You can do this several ways, but the most common ways is one, to continue to embark on that idea that your followers are inherently flawed, therefore never perfect, because they can't perfectly follow your high maintenance, impossible to achieve ideology, so therefore they're always blaming themselves. Or always continue to harp on that idea of the big threat. Whatever it is, it's always out there, it's always out to get you. And even if your organization becomes this worldwide multi-million or even multi-billion-dollar conglomerate, you're always the little guy who's under constant threat by the tyranny of whatever that big threat is. And as long as they continue to exist, you're always going to be oppressed. And also, don't forget, you always want to make this as lucrative an idea as possible. You can do this through making documentaries that you can put on Netflix and YouTube videos. You can create a product distribution direct selling service where you start selling something and they hire other people below them to recruit other people below them. And that creates this feedback loop of constant failure, yet always the possibility of success that's going to forever feed into this idea that salvation is always at hand if they can just do it right someday in the future. And most importantly, sell courses, lots of courses, and charge exuberant amounts of money for them. Hold seminars and always convince people that the salvation they want is always just at hand if they invest a little bit more of their hard-earned money. Even though the fact of this whole health and wellness thing has always been available to human beings since antiquity, people have successfully been improving their health and wellness since the dawn of time without any of this stuff. You need to convince people that your methods, which are brand new and yet still somehow rooted in ancient methods, is the only way they can possibly be fit, healthy, and achieve that salvation. So now you have all the tools at your disposal. If you need anything else, by all means, reach out to us here at the Institute of MSU. Now go out, spread your message of help, hope, and salvation that will never be achieved by anybody, and convince people they need to care about something that honestly isn't really that important. Best of luck to you.